Hey guys, hello and welcome to another video today. So in today's video, we'll be talking about environment variables in Power Automate, right? We will see how can we create, how can we call, how can we update an environment variables. We'll be seeing the difference in the new and the old designer of power this environment variables. What is the difference between old and new designer and environment variables, right? So let's get started. Before getting started, the environment variable is basically can only be created from a cloud flow, right? And we'll see how can we create it. So in order to get started, let's just create a quick cloud flow. Let me just name it mobile gate, right? I'll switch to my old designer and I'll just add a variable, right? So I'll just name it as phones and string, and I'll just add one more variable just to set it, right? Set variable and phones. I'll just name brand name. Okay. Now, if you see here into your dynamic content, you are only getting this variable, which is our variable phone, right? Nothing else you will be able to see in here, right? So I'll just save this one and let us quickly switch to the old designer. I'm sorry, new designer. And in the new designer, if you see, this is the sign for dynamic content. So here also there are no environment variables currently, right? So I'll just go back and into my solution. So in the environment variable can only be created into the solution tab, right? You have to create a solution and you have to add your cloud flow, and then you have to add your environment variable. Basically this is how it works, right? So I'll just name my solution as mobile solutions, right? And I'll just choose the default publisher, and in the more on option I'll just have configuration as none and click create, right? So I'll be adding my recently created cloud flow, right? And it is mobile. Let me just add it, right? So my cloud flow is added. Now in order to create environment variable, I'll just click new more, and in here you will have the environment variable. Now you can give it any name you like, right? So I'll name it just mobile brand, and the description you can give any description you like. Data type I'll just choose it as a text, right? And default value I'll just give as Apple, right? New value you can give any new value you like. For now let's just leave it blank, and we'll see in later part of the video how can we update the current value, right? And there is this option when it is not ticked or it is no, then what will happen is if you give any, let's just give Samsung in the current value. So what now if you export this solution, this value will be removed and this will came as blank. And the moment you click yes, this value will be exported in your solution file. So this is the only difference in this value. So I'll just leave it blank and click save. Right, so you see there is one environment variable came here. Now I'll just publish my all customizations. Now our customizations are published. So this is how we create our environment variable, right? So I'll just go back. I'll open this into the new tab to my flows, right? And I'll just click edit. So in the new designer, earlier you are not able to get any environment variable. Now let's see. Now if you see, you will be able to see all these your environment variables here. So if you see, you only have created one environment variable, and now you will be able to see all the environment variables which are there into this development environment, right? So I'll just take this, right, and I'll just save it. Now I'll show you the difference between new and the old designer. In the new designer, you will be able to see all the environment variables. And let's just go and switch to old designer. and here I'll just remove this, and here if you see there is only one environment variable visible. So I don't understand basically why there is this much difference, but this is the difference you see in the old and new designer, right? So I'll just save this one and let's just test it and let's just check the value, right? So we'll test it, run flow, done. Okay, and if you see, the brand name is coming as Apple, which is your obviously default value, which is coming here. Right, so I'll just give it a space and then like this, save. Right, so currently your value is coming as Apple, which is your default value because you do not have any current value. So a default value is coming because the current, we have not given any current value. Now let's see how can we give current value. It is same, you go to your solutions, right, and just edit this, edit new value, and let me just give it Samsung. Let's just save it. Okay, now I'll go back to my flow again, save it again, and test it. Right, if I open this, this is now our value is been, right, it has been updated from Apple to Samsung, right? But before updating, what we forget was, although it was updated, right, what we forget is to publish our customization. So any changes you make in your solution, you will have to, this is very much mandatory, that sometimes the values are not updated. I've seen in 90% of the cases that you, if you do not publish your customizations, your values will not be updated in most of the cases. So what I recommend is, you make a change in your solution, you always have to publish your customizations, right? So you go into this flow, edit, let's just go back and run it. Right, and your value is updated from default to current value, right? So this is one way to update your environment variable from the solution itself, but every time you update it from solution, you have to publish all the customization, and there is a, change in your solution every time. So if I go back, if you see, okay, so where are these environment variables basically stored, right? So in order to, so basically these are stored in the Dataverse obviously into some tables. Now let's see, in order to open those tables, I'll just click more and click on tables, right? And all our tables are stored into the Power Apps, and into the tables, I'll just search for my environment, which is env, and you see there are two tables basically. One is the definition table and another one is the value table. So I'll go into the definition table first, and in here if you see, you have all your environment variables created in this environment, right? So new Mac mobile brand, so if you see, this environment variable is being created on 8/18, this is created at 12, this is created in 8/18, right? And then it is published, who has created it, and what is the default value, what is the description, right? So everything is here except the default, the current value, right? And where is this current value being stored is into the another table. So I'll go back and I'll search for another table. If I open this table, right, so value is here, and you will also be able to see the environment variable definition, right? So all our environment variables are being stored into these tables, and these are only our read only tables, and you cannot edit them, right? So this is how Power Automate stores its environment variables into these tables, right? So this is one way to, update our environment variable value. You go into your solution and update your value, right? So this is one way. Another way is, you go into your solution tab, we are already in our solution tab, and you go into the default solution, right? So in default solution, you have all the things you have created in your environment, right? So it has all the AI models, Copilot, all the apps you have created, card, connection references, all the APIs, all the desktop version, all the desktop flow you have created, and you also have your environment variables here, right? So all the environment variables being created are stored in the default solution of environment variables. Now in order to edit it, I'll just click on that environment variable, right? And in order to update the value, I can just update it from here, right? So if I update it to, yeah, click save, right? Updating environment variable, I go back here and run it again. Wait, go back, let's just run it from here. Okay, so this has been updated, right? So what is the difference between updating it from here and updating it from solution is into the solution you always have to publish your customization, but from the default solution table you do not have to do any customization and all things. You just have to update your variable value to the current value. You will just have to update it, right? So this is how you create, update and call your environment variables. And we have also seen the difference between the old designer and the new designer, how the environment variables looks. So yeah, this is all about environment variables. If you like this video, please like, share and comment. Till then, bye, happy automation, see you soon to the next video.